standing, and for the first time, welcome with me, Vicky Dan, the new Mrs. and Mr. Felix.
Good afternoon. Hope you're all enjoying yourselves. And for those of you who don't know, I am Vicky's dad and my name is Mike. And firstly, Sue and I would like to say thank you very much to all who helped make today possible. I think it's a fantastic setting for a celebration, and what a beautiful ceremony it was. And it's wonderful to look out and see family and friends who are able to be with us today. And we hope you all have a fabulous time tonight. And I think we'd especially like to welcome those of you who've travelled some distance, from London, from Surrey, from Berkshire, Cambridgeshire, Yorkshire, Lancashire, Rochdale, Haywood, Buckinghamshire, Hampshire, Nottinghamshire, and of course Merseyside and Cheshire. So, they say you make the majority of your parenting mistakes with your first. Well, maybe, but as we look at you today, we love what we see. You look incredible, and we've watched you develop from a very pretty little girl with long straw-coloured blonde hair into an assertive and efficient young businesswoman that you are today. On the way, you've been a caring and loved big sister to James.
That's not what James said.
And a friend to many. And you've acquired the name Tig, for which you can thank your little brother James, who, when learning to speak, couldn't cope with Vicky, so Tig it was. I remember the day you were born at the Countess of Chester, and the amazing feelings of being a father for the first time. Although even that was an event that was not without unusual aspects. Having left the lights on Sue's car and flattening the battery, I had to call for assistance. I don't know how many times the sister in the maternity suite had to say to the expectant father, excuse me, but there's a man from the AA here. Anyway, despite this, you were born safely, although you well and truly took your time, and I remember holding you with some trepidation and wondering what the future will hold. I remember reading bedtime stories like 5 Minutes Peace, The Very Hungry Caterpillar, still read that now. And you especially loved the Old Bear series of books. But it wasn't long before you were reciting them and reading them back to me. I remember trying to teach you how to throw a ball, not like a girl. Unlike your brother, you still have no sporting pretensions whatsoever, apart from horse riding. Do you remember Annabelle the White Pony in Kingsley? As a child, most have a favourite cuddly toy, or a teddy bear. Something you take to bed every night and use as a source of comfort. And they're usually small, cute, easy to take around with you. Vicky had Mr. Cushion. Mr. Cushion was very large, very easy to get very grubby, often a bit smelly, and the reason for some strange looks when we were out and about. He used to chew the corner endlessly. Did Mr. Cushion go to university? No. Vicky was always a star at school. Parents' evenings were always an absolute delight, with every teacher, almost without fail, singing your praises. And sometimes Sue and I had to wonder if they'd confused you with somebody else. I remember looking at universities with you, and Lancaster in particular. And I remember A-level results day, 2007, and the pride we felt when your A-level grades were so good they exceeded the entry requirements and meant you got a scholarship from the university. I remember the concern we had when, as part of your degree, you lived in Paris for a year with Adele, who's here today, I think. Especially when we heard about the rats coming out of the toilet. But anyway, you survived and grew as a result and ended up editing the European newsletter for Alcatel. It also meant Sue and I had a reason to visit Paris several times during that year. And then your first job, conveniently close to home, Kerry Foods in Egham, Surrey. So we had to find somewhere to live. More hassle-fanny accommodation, with you eventually settling in Englefield Green. Vicky told us one day that there was a boy who worked in the Ring of Bells in Daresbury who'd been to the same school. This was, of course, Dan. Their first date was July 2009, and the rest, they say, is history. They're already a formidable team. They have a lovely home. They both have promising careers and are impressing their employers. The future is bright. Just Vicky and Dan. It's customary on these occasions for the father of the bride, he's the one looking a bit weary and penniless, to offer some advice and words of wisdom to the newlyweds. So, some time ago, I began to look for inspiration and sensible and wise people who could help. This was not easy. Eventually it struck me, the one person who had it all sussed, who knew what life is really about, who could offer a whole philosophy on how to live your life happily and in a totally fulfilling way, a trusting, loving and loyal friend. So I sat down with a heart-to-heart conversation with Ralph. He has a very informative view on life. And what he said to me goes something like this. Dear Mum and Dad, love unconditionally. Enjoy making many friends and seek out the good in everyone. Eat well and as often as possible. I'll do that. Take as much time as you can to romp and play every day. Never underestimate the value of a good nap. And most importantly, trust each other off the lead. It's also customary on these occasions to spend a few minutes extolling the qualities of our new son-in-law, Daniel. I have 3 pages of notes, but I'm sorry, Dan, I can't read your writing. Anyway, the first time we met, I thought you were a bit loud, very talkative. But we came to know that you are passionately family-orientated and a very caring young man. And more importantly, it became obvious that you thought the world of Vicky. There is a picture in Vicky and Dan's living room with the caption, "You are the gin to my tonic." And Vicky and Dan, you do seem to complement each other perfectly. I remember, Dan, when you told me that you loved my daughter and asked my permission for the 2 of you to marry. You impressed me as a young man who knows what he wants and plans not only to make it happen, but with all the detail included. Of all the positive qualities you possess, and there are many, the most important to me is that you bring a smile to our daughter's face and you spend a lot of time laughing together. We look forward to many more happy days of laughter and fun with you. Yay. I do have some advice to Dan. If you haven't done so already, you need to let Vicky know very soon who's the boss. And I remember when I first got married that I did this to Sue. And the way to do it is, well, what I did, I looked Sue directly in the eyes and I said solemnly, "Sue, you're the boss." Dan, you do well to remember this. Now, it is my pleasant duty to propose a toast to the happy couple. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and raise your glasses. Here's to the groom and bride so fair. Here's to the bride with groom so rare. As you walk together along life's path, may you bless and enrich each other's lives and those around you. May you continue to enjoy the blessings of family and your many friends to see you through all of life's challenges. I wish you both many, many happy days together. Here's to Victoria and Daniel, the new Mr. and Mrs. Felix. Mr. and Mrs. Felix.
baskets are off the dog. It's really important to run from play every day. I'm sure now to respond. Right, good.
I just want to say thank you very much to Mike for those very kind words. Before we crack on with the main part of my speech, there's a frame just in front of us here with a few pictures of friends and families who cannot be with us today for one reason or another. So before we start, I'd like everyone to stand up and raise your glasses to absent friends and family. Thank you very much. Right, lovely. And I also have got one apology to make from a family member. My cousin Laura, who has spent the last 5 years, is it? 5 years? Four and a bit years, travelling the world. She's been to the Far East, Australia and New Zealand, and has only recently, the last 4 weeks, come back to the UK for the first time. Now, unfortunately, she was back for 1 day. She unfortunately would love to be here today. She sadly she can't make it. She's currently sailing on yachts around the Mediterranean. So before she jets off to Canada. I'd just like to quickly raise a glass. Everyone's raise a glass to Laura. Now, okay. So before I start to talk about my beautiful, before I start to talk about beautiful new wife, a lot of thank yous we need to get through. Really, my first thank yous to all of you here. Mike has obviously gone through all the counties and stuff that everyone's come from. We all know you travel from far and wide, especially to Adam and Sarah, who've come all the way, 6 hours from, say, Austell in Cornwall. So thank you very much to you guys. I'd like to thank the beautiful bridesmaids for today, Becca and Katie. We have got some gifts for you. Come on. Sorry. We have got some gifts for you. I'd like to come and get them. Can you come? Just want to say thank you very much for your help and support over the last, well, all the friendships you've had with the time you've been friends with Vicky, and especially over the last 18 months while she's been trying to arrange today. Our next thank you is to our niece and beautiful flower girl, Imogen. She looks absolutely amazing today. We've got a small little gift for you as well. And also thank you very much to Alex, my other cousin, for walking her down the aisle today. Thank you, Alex. Our next thank you is to our 3 ushers, to Adam, Chris and Vicky's little brother Jim, who have really helped today trying to get things motoring through and hopefully help us over the last couple of months and trying to get this sorted. We too also have a gift for you as well. So, look alive. So Jim, you want to stay there? There you go. No, leave that Good.
Don't you worry, Jim, I'll come to you. You rested me.
My next thanks is to my best man and best friend of 19 years. Whoa. Now, Mark and I met on our induction day at secondary school back in June 1998, I want to say. Yeah. Mark was wet, so Mark and I have a huge love of football, and especially at one point Italian football. And Mark was wearing an Inter Milan shirt. Now, any sort of first chat-up line went out the window. When I looked at him, pointed at him, I went, Inter Milan. And ever since then, for 19 years, he's been my best mate. So we've also got a gift for you, my friend.
You might want it back after my speech.
I probably will be fair. We also like to thank both Harold and Peter for taking today's service. Now, fortunately, Peter can't be with us this afternoon, but I have thanked him on everyone's behalf anyway. But we'd also like to thank Harold as well for taking today's service, and we've got a small gift for you as well, Harold. We're getting there. I'd like to thank now both sets of parents, to Mike and Sue. Oh right, yes, of course. Okay, we'll do that now then. Okay, thank you very much also to our readers, to both Annie and my Auntie Mary, for taking today's readings.
can do this one first, it's easy.
And also like to thank Russ. And now I'm not going to go into too much detail as to why I'm thanking Russ, but thank you very much to Russ for over the last couple of weeks while a group of us have been borrowing his scout hut in Frodsham. Now I'm going to leave it at that. I know a lot of different ideas are going around people's heads what the hell a group of us been doing with the scout hut, but it'll all make sense later on today.
What stays at scout hut?
Yeah. Put it this way, the scout hut became a home from home at one point in time. No, nearly. Okay.
I'll share up with you 10 years.
Now I'd like to thank both sets of parents, to Mike and Sue, for making me from day one feel part of the family and accepting the fact that I am not an Evertonian, but a Manchester United fan. And then on to my own parents, David and Sally, for always supporting me in everything I do, all my endeavours. And we've also got both sets of, we've got gifts for both sets of parents. This is the last set here.
You can tell me the job. Here we go. Come on, hurry.
I'd also like to thank my sisters and my brother-in-law, Lizzie, Susie and Andrew. Now, especially to my sisters who always have looked after me over the years. This included once clipping me to a pushchair and tipping me upside down, dressing me up with a full makeover as a nurse, and once helping me down from a tree after being stuck up there for about 10 minutes, shaking the branches and shouting help.
Was that last tree? Wasn't even a tree?
What was it?
It was a bush.
Tree sounds better. Tree sounds better. My final thanks goes to everyone who attended both Vicky's and mine's respective hen and stag weekends. I'm sure we all really had a really good time. We're all back on the horse, lads, I believe, as well. Okay, now, on to my beautiful wife, Vicky. Now, not many people will be aware of this, but actually, today's our 8-year anniversary when we first got together. But before 8 years ago, our paths did cross quite often. Vicky and I both went to the same school as each other. We both went to Bishop's High School in Chester. Yes! Now, there was a 2-year difference between us both. Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking that Vicky might have thought of me as some cool, good-looking older boy. However, this at times was not necessarily the case. Now, at this point we were going to school, there were 3 coaches that went from Runcorn. 001 and 009 were the main coaches, and we were on different buses. Now, on my coach, I was the last stop. Now, there may be times when I have to get onto Vicky's bus. Now again, I go back to my point before. You'll be forgiven for thinking some cool, older looking boy got onto the bus. But it wasn't until a few years ago I found out that both Vicky and her friend Bex would refer to me as the weirdo from Daresbury. And I think they are quite close to the case. Our paths then continued to cross. As Mike referred to before, we both worked at the Ring of Bells in Daresbury. Now, Vicky only worked there for a short time, but our eyes met over a spilt bowl of olives one time when Vicky dropped a rather large tray containing several meals. And don't worry, this knight in shining armour came to her aid. In the July of 2009, we then started dating properly. Now, again, you'll be forgiven that thinking that Vicky was at times trying to get away from me. And as many people testify, I do not take hints very well. During the first year of our relationship, Vicky moved to Paris for a year, where she ended up living there for a year with Adele. During the second year of our relationship, Vicky then went back to Lancaster University, but I continued to visit her most weekends. Now, we're into a third year of our relationship. You think to myself, Dan, you got to start taking the hint. She keeps moving away from you, you stalker. However, she then did move down to Surrey, and being the typical myself, I followed her down there as well, where we continued to live in Woking for 2 years. Sorry, anyway, so yeah, Vicky and I have now been living together for the last 5 years, and while the times that we've been together have been truly amazing, Vicky's culinary delights when it comes to living with her sometimes do take a strange path. I mean, at one time we had chicken tikka masala with Chinese noodles. We had cottage pie with cottage cheese in the mashed potato. And I discovered recently, through her friend Leanne, that during her first year of university, she asked how she would go to make mashed potato. Now, in our relationship, I would always say that Vicky is the clever one. She speaks different languages. She has a 2-1 from Lancaster and continually obtained A grades in both the GCSEs and A-level. Somehow, she got an A in Politics General Studies. She got 100% in Politics General Studies, which is fluent beyond belief. However, her geographical knowledge is little comfort. Regularly says to herself and to myself, "Oh, I didn't know that was there." And she has a belief that every way she is facing, that is north. Common sense has also seemed to bypass Vicky every now and again, and I recall one such occasion when she was hoovering up in the kitchen and then screamed to me that she had hoovered up the knife into the hoover. Asked her how she did this, she told me she was hoovering the counter in the kitchen because it had crumbs on it. Regardless of all this, the last 8 years have been filled with fun, laughter and love, and you're my everything, and to call you my wife makes me the luckiest man in the world. As we set off the rest of our lives together as husband and wife, I can honestly say it will feel like the first 8 years. So, can I ask you all please to stand? And to raise your glasses to my new wife, Vicky. Now, with much trepidation and fear, as there is a projector and a screen at the far end, you don't know what's about to happen, I now hand you over to my best friend and best man, Mark Redmond.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Mark, and apparently I'm the best man, although clearly not good enough for a seat at the top table. It's been a very emotional day, as everyone knows. You know, some of you might have noticed even the cake is in tears. First, I'd like to thank Mike and Dan for their fantastic speeches. Do you like that? Sorry, mate. It's alright, yeah. Take your time.
One needed to know what the joke meant.
I knew someone wouldn't. I thought it'd be Vicky, to be honest. First, I'd like to thank Mike and Dan for their fantastic speeches and making me feel more nervous than before. Hopefully a combination of my attempted wit and stolen jokes off the internet will suffice. On behalf of the bridesmaids and myself, I'd like to thank Dan and Vicky for asking us to be involved in one of the biggest, best and happiest days of our lives. I'm honoured to be standing here now as best man. When writing the speech, I didn't really know where to start, so I thought I'd troll the internet for a couple of hours, and I found some really, really good stuff. And I remembered I was meant to be writing a speech. So I only actually completed it yesterday. First of all, big thank you to the bridesmaids today. You all look wonderful. I'm sorry to say that to you when your other half's present, but I have to say that because it's apparently part of the I'm sure everyone agrees that Vicky looks lovely in a dress. Today's a big day. Dan looks alright, I suppose, but after seeing Vicky today, maybe he's punching above his weight. Oh, and I've already updated Vicky's surname on my phone due to mild OCD I have. Nobody ever pays the groom a compliment as well. For those who don't know, Dan is actually one of the hairiest men in Britain. With that in mind, I'd like to thank the staff at Chester Zoo's Ape and Monkey House for getting ready this morning. In fact, I helped him get ready this morning as we both stayed over in the hotel last night. Had a couple of games of FIFA and a few beers, and shared a bed, not for the first time. He did try to cuddle me and whisper sweet, sweet music into my ear. Vicky, I didn't know he was such a tender lover. I'd also like to thank the ushers today, Ian, Adam, Chris and James, who often play a most underrated part of the wedding. I like to think of them as like a B-day. Nobody really knows what they do, but they had a touch of class. I'd also like to thank everyone for being here, especially the ones new up front. I'll be talking and haven't left the room yet, so thank you all. The speech does sound strange for me though, and probably many of our close school friends, because we always refer to Dan as Felix, so I've got to be more formal and call him Dan in this rather than Felix. We've also hang on, I've just read that. And I'm going to repeat what you said here basically. So we first met probably nearly 20 years ago on induction day in school. I turned up late due to a class assembly in my primary school. I sat somewhere near to Dan, and I had my Inter Milan shirt on, and I wrote exactly the same phrase as you said, Inter Milan. The rest is history. We've been best friends ever since, share many common interests such as football, music, films, playing games such as Football Manager and FIFA. So when the PS4 came out, he wanted to get one in order to continue our FIFA online sessions, although Vicky wouldn't let him have one unless he bought her a ring first. So of course I encouraged him further to buy a ring unless he wanted to play FIFA with him. I've also been asking him to get a drum kit for about 15 years, and as he slipped a little hint in there before that we were probably playing some songs later on. That was the Scout Hut joke, so sorry I've let that go. I've already wrote it down. So thanks again for Vicky for marrying him, so you've got a reason to get a drum kit. We've been rehearsing a few songs over the recent few months, along with his father David, Vicky's father Mike, David and Claire. Although I urge you later on when we play not to get too close to the drum kit, as you may get a few splinters from flying as you beat some living daylights out of the kit. I'm sure everyone has been practising can vouch for that. I'd also like to think the only part of the kit which hasn't fell apart during rehearsals is the drum stool itself. So just make sure it's secure enough tonight before you sit on it. Unlike the bench in the school changing rooms that we both sat on once and destroyed. Although to this day I don't take any responsibility, as I managed to stand up just in the nick of time, leaving you flat on your arse in front of the whole class. We also both went to Demartford University in Leicester. Although we didn't live together, we might as well have. In the second year he actually had a key for our house, and he just let himself in willy-nilly, which neither me or my housemates mind. He was kind of like the household pet. I remember the first time we met Vicky, and he was head over heels when they first began their relationship, and now some years down the line, here we are, and I'm very happy for you both. It's been a long time coming, to be honest. I first heard about being the best man, I think it was 2 days before Christmas last year. Yes. You vouch for that? Yeah, glad I got that right. On our annual Christmas pub crawl, where along with our mate Chris, we often get really drunk and sing Man United chants in the Chinese restaurant, as you do. Although when I heard the news, I did think, are you sure you trust me? Who said they can't do it? Someone must have said they can't do it, surely. I'm honoured and grateful to be standing here now and praising him and ripping him at the same time, trying to get the balance right, as I don't want him roughing me up like you did in rugby during school. Smearing mud all over my glasses so I can't see, and then hitting me in the face. Although it was good during interform, as our class's tactic was to give the ball to Felix and he would just run down the field with 5 men clinging off him, trying to bring him down as he scored try after try. And saying that, I'm surprised you managed to get some trousers to fit you today, as you often like to inform us about your huge rugby thighs you currently still have, after about 10 years of not even playing.
Rugby, you know.
Unfortunately for Dan, I can't really think of any more embarrassing stories other than the mouth you've just mentioned. Either he's been too careful in life to get through this moment unscathed, or I've got a memory like a sieve. Probably the latter. So we've got up lightly on this matter, but not to worry, I've got an ace card up my sleeve for you all shortly. As you can see, I've got the apparatus set up there. The newlyweds are very welcoming and great hosts into our lovely home. I recommend you all going round for dinner sometime if you haven't already. You may even get to sample some of Dan's selection of mustards, which he prides himself about. Although recently his mustard stock has diminished and needs improving. It's non-existent now. It's customary for the best man to give some words of wisdom to newlyweds on marriage. However, far from marriage myself, I can't speak from experience, so anyone has any advice, just let me know and I'll pass it on as my own advice later on, and say this piece of paper didn't have enough room to list them all. I've got 3 pages here. All I want to say is enjoy what married life has to offer. You both deserve it so much. Although you keep the ring on, you have to keep the ring on though, you know, Dan, because during sixth form you used to wear a ring as a fashion accessory, and the first thing you did every time you sat down was take your ring off and take your watch off. So I don't want you losing. I don't want you. I don't want you losing it. As I mentioned before, myself, Dan, David, Mike, and Claire, and the other David will be playing some songs later on, which we've been rehearsing the past couple of months. So this is where it gets real. So if I zoom it away over here. So as mentioned, so me and Dan's musical escapades go quite far back, which I'd like to treat to this gem now.
It's not got a bat on
So anyway, here we go. Excuse the quality, by the way, it's 15 years
Took my chances. When the distance was back on my feet, just a hand and it will survive. So many times it happens too fast. You trade your passion for glory. Don't lose your grip on the dreams on the side. You must find just to keep them alive.
Now, Felix.
knew that was coming, didn't you?
So on that bombshell, may I just conclude in wishing you both many, many more years of happiness and a long and fruitful marriage. I'm extremely happy for you both, I'm sure everyone else is here. So I'd like you all to raise your glasses and join me in a toast and say congratulations to you, Mr. and Mrs. Felix, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the bride and groom.
To my place, watching every move smile on her face. She said, look, what's your game? Are you trying to put me in shame? I said, slow down, don't go so fast. Don't you think that I love tenderness? She said, love, what about us? Are you trying to trick me inside? All right now, baby. All right now. All right now, baby. It's all right now. All right now, baby. It's all right now. All right now, baby. It's all right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to the supergroup. There is no treble, it is all about the bass. Mr. David Moulton.
Chocolate face. Ooh.
Your fingers. Is that your fingers?
There we go.
Hiya.
Wait there. I won't go in now, okay? It's being filmed. Oh! Walking out the toilet. This is my oldest friend, Tom. Being filmed.
Hi.
You can do a dance. Right. Woo! You having a nice time? Yeah.
Oh, Taylor's quite drunk actually.
Is it? Oh, good. Woo! Not a close up. Right, should we stop that then? That's it.